This one I am going to title the lower income policy challenge. Yes, the lower income policy challenge. And what this challenge is when you listen to whoever you listen to in terms of getting your news media or whatnot, whether it be progressive, whether it be establishment, or whether it be Republican, or the very, like maybe the two progressive Republicans out there, listen to them. What they'll talk about is deregulation helps the country, usually, versus you need to deregulate, to like you I'm not even gonna, I'm not even gonna edit this. You'll have your progressives that will espouse regulating, but not over-regulating, because you don't want to get stupid now. But regulating will definitely help save a lot of money. They don't tell you how. Not completely. You regulate and things are disposed of safely. You reduce cancers. You reduce other autoimmune ailments and such. That's what will happen. That saves on medical bills. It saves on doctor's visits, clinical visits, and things like that. Then you have your establishment, which will be your Republican or your Democrat. Those are the ones that will say you must deregulate, because if you deregulate, then the corporations make a whole lot more money. If they make a whole lot more money, they pay us a lot more money, and they're able to give their executives and assistant executives and just, I think, one rung under, and they get to give those really big $30 million bonuses. So and that's what they say creates jobs, because while they'll close a job down or close a business, ship it out somewhere, they'll open up a new one, build it up, and then once that's built up and probably established within about 5-10 years, they ship that out and repeat. It's a slow process that people can't see, because when it's slow, you're just living your life doing your thing. But when it comes to anyone talking about wages, they talk about middle class. When no matter what, it's always the war on the middle class. They talk about the middle class being hurt. Now, there are people out there who are middle class. They're going to hear this and they're going to be like, "Oh, you're attacking me." Not necessarily. I'm attacking your bubble, not you. I'm attacking your bubble, because there are middle class people that they live well if they live within their means, and they will live very comfortable. If you're middle class, you're going to easily be making roughly, now lower middle class, I would say you're probably making about $44,000. Well, now today, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. Today you might be making probably about 55,000. And if you're upper middle class, you'll be making, I'd say, about 130,000, something like that, 150,000, in that range. So you're making that kind of money and you want to live in that lifestyle, you've ruined yourself. So that's on you. That's literally on you. If I made $100,000, I'm not going to live in a $500,000 house. I'm not going to live in a $200,000 house. I'm not going to live in the fancy clubs around, that stays away from the Commonwealth people. I'm not going to do that. If I made that much, I'd probably be in a place where I am now, where I could pay it off in not 30 years, but more like 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then I'm done with it. Then I can improve it. And if I wanted to, sell it and move to another place that was, like this one used to be, and then build that back up. I might do something like that. And then when I sell it, I'm not going to sell it for what it's worth. I'll probably sell it for what I paid for it. That's and what I put into it. But I'm not going to, if I bought it for $70,000 and I put in $20,000, I think at total, let's see, so at $90,000, and then you get all the interest rate and crap like that, so it'll probably be about $120,000 home at that moment, after all that other crap that's included. Then I'm going to sell it for $120,000. I'm not going to sell it for what it might be worth. It might be worth $200,000 or $300,000. And so when I hear people, Kyle, Jank, Anna, when I hear Farron Cousins, when I hear all these people talking about the war on the middle class, I'm like, I don't give a shit about the middle class. They're fine. It's people who are making $7 and $8 and $10 and $12 and $15 and $17 an hour that find it very hard to live. If you're by yourself, you are fine. You're fine. But you know what? As a human, most people have a family and they got to take care of more than one person, or they got to take care of, a group of people depending upon. Like one woman there's one woman she's in South Carolina. She makes like $700 or $800 a month, and she's on welfare. And so the welfare will cover about $300 in food, but they're trying to restrict the food. Now you'll hear that and think, well, why don't you just get a better job? See, that's when you're in a bubble. Now, if you hear that and you're like, oh man, that's terrible, we got to do something about that, then you're golden. But if you just say it to say it, but you don't care past that, then no, you're not golden. You're not. You're bronze in the Bronze Age, and and your views are not relevant. That's how I see that. There are people struggling. We're not struggling, but we're close to struggling. That's what you call paycheck to paycheck. You're roughly like, oh crap, okay, there's nothing in the refrigerator. There's a good few things in the cabinet, and we're pretty much out of anything of true good substance. And then you got to wait 2 to 3 days, get paid. Oh, yay, we got money. Okay, now you got your money, and 2/3 of that goes to paying the mortgage. Bow. And then the rest literally goes to supplies and food. And then you say, well, what's your problem? You got plenty of money. No, we don't. We don't have plenty of money. And that's where your bubble is jacked up. You don't have plenty of money. Now, if you can pay your mortgage of, let's say you got $733 to pay in mortgage, you pay, then you do all your food, supplies, and things like that. Hey, you got about what, $500 left? And you say, you know what? You can save $200 or $300. If you can do that, you're middle class. You are. If you're anyone that says how to save $500 a month, how to save $400 a month, you're middle class, or you are lower class with a decent job, not a good one, decent job, and so frugal in what you do, you barely got anything because you're saving up for those extreme rainy days, the medical rainy days, the car repair rainy days, the replacing the water pump rainy days, or the AC bus rainy days, or your rent, if you're in an apartment, your rent go up rainy days, or we're getting rid of you because reasons, go live in a more expensive place because that's all that's left. That's where you would be then. So what I want you to do is listen to all these people and see who's talking about the lower class and bringing them up. And this is sparked by listening to Kyle Kalinske. He did a thing where he was listening to Richard Ojeda, who I do like, but even Richard Ojeda, he was like bolstering the middle class. He talked about the working class. He talked about that's basically the lower class, the labor workers, warehousing and assembly and things like that. It was brief, but his major complaint, this was a turnoff to me about Richard Ojeda. His thing was, you'll just have the filthy rich, and then you won't have a middle class. You'll have the filthy rich, and then the dirt poor, and then the dirt poor will eat the dirt poor will eat the filthy rich. And I'm like, so your concern is that the middle class is going to get busted down to lower class area. See, that's the problem. You're worried about that. People worried about that instead of, wait a minute, we don't have a working class that is middle class. When we shouldn't even have classes. We really shouldn't. We shouldn't even have wages. We really shouldn't have any of that. But people are so hardwired for capitalism They don't want to think of anything else. And then if they do think of something else, they do hear something else. They're like, wait, that sounds pretty good. They're not going to do it. They're like, well, nobody's going to go for that. And since I believe that nobody's going to go for that, then I'm not going to even try to support that. Therefore, shot dead in the water. That's our problem. And that's why this nation, that's why we as a people on this planet cannot financially evolve. And that's why every generation is going to suffer, because nobody wants to evolve. They want to stay where they are, hope and vote and espouse for better things, but don't make those life changes that will bring those new things in. That is a cycle. That is a very toxic cycle, and you need to break it. If you hear something and you like it, support it. Support it. Talk about it. Don't just say nobody's going to like it, so let's not be about it. No, if you like it, you support it. Talk to others and let them know it's not about what others are going to think. It's about what you think. I mean, in general, how do you think racism spread? They hate. Someone said, well, hatred isn't going to spread. Then it would have been shot dead in the water now, wouldn't it? But no, I don't like those people. You know what? I ain't really like them that much either. Well, you know what? They're scum. Now let's make up some lies about them. And you know what? We're going to make sure that everything that we do, we make sure that tell everybody that's what they do. And we don't do it because we're the law-abiding citizens. It's like, ah, fuck. And there you go. It spread. So, please, let's be better. It ain't what you think, it's why you think it. This is Cedric, candidate for comparative reasoning. Thank you for listening. And if you did, thank you for understanding.